up, guys? It's Jordan Nothing Gilbert, and I wanted to welcome you back to the MDL Pro Tips powered by Mountain Dew Game Fuel. Today we're going to be talking about mistakes to avoid on T-side Dust2. Now, the interesting thing about this one for me is that this is one of the most commonly played maps across the whole CS franchise dating back to when the game was released, and so there's not always a lot to talk about in terms of new developments. But as usual with this series, I like to talk about the basics that I want to see people avoid, and just kind of some key highlights in each part of the map. So as I said, we're starting with the T side. First up is long A. So first things first. A lot of times when I see people rush long, if you have the whole team behind you, it's great. You're probably not going to run into too many gaps in terms of your flashes because everyone's chucking a lot over. But as we all know, especially in solo queue, you're not always getting the support you need. So if you want to solo wrong rush, here's what you need to do. The first problem I see people do is they throw this first flash way too early. They throw that flash and then they sometimes don't even throw another one, or they try to throw something and it's not really doing anything because the guy at the corner is not going to be pushed back off the angle. So the first thing you want to do when you're rushing long is you want to make sure when you throw this flash, if you don't think you're going to have support, obviously if you have someone, you tell them to throw a flash like right as you're about to hit the door. Perfect. If not, wait till the last second for yourself, throw a flash like that, and while you're running, bank another out the door and get a nice jump out to the left here. The reason you want to do this is because what that flash will do is you're hoping it'll deter this guy, and at the least, if it doesn't and he's peeking it, he'll eat the second flash while you're bunny hopping, and he might have to be pushed off the angle enough times where he needs to come back and peek it, but you're already out wide. Secondly, you want to throw the bank flash because if this guy's running, he normally turns left and comes back, and if he sees the bank flash, he'll be running like this to big pit. It'll give you enough time, even if you're jumping, to turn, land, get the kill. I've done it 1,000 times, and you can get that kill, and that's one way of doing it by yourself. If you think they're not going to nade it, or they haven't been nading it, the second option is instead of throw this flash, wait for the nade split second. You can secure that you can get out, but this time the big pit guy can be there. But you can throw this flash, blind the long hopper, and if you're confident this guy will be peeking, you want to get that kill, you can do that. Now you're out, the opper's there, and you could use like a little back pedal flash to push him off the corner, and now you have long control. So just a couple options to make sure you're actually blinding the people you need to blind to get the space that you want. Next up, how many times have you crossed long A in your life? Probably 1,000 if you played this game for a decent bit of time, right? But how many times do you see people miss a cross smoke, all right? Now, I might even miss it showing you an example right now, but one thing I want to go over is what smoke you should throw, again, if you're by yourself. Obviously, if you have two smokes, well, even then, some people mess it up. But you want to obviously cover both, right? Well, I'm going to fast forward the server here a little bit and show you one smoke to cover the left side, which is what you want to cover if you're by yourself. You do not want to cover the right because they could see you cross and try to time the shot. It's harder for them to react if you're coming through the far side of the smoke because this way they have to be watching a small gap and you could jump in a variety of places. You could run across. But you could hit the B-hop easier and they have less time to shoot you, right? If you come through the gap on this side, and the gap, is like this, right? That might actually not provide one. They could trace you with their M4, right? And they could still do damage to you. But if you throw the smoke on this side, they have less time to trace you. They don't know when to shoot through the smoke, right? So here's a good smoke for the left. I don't even really line it up closely, but it's on the corner of this shadow. I just kind of stand here, aim at the top point of this awning, and then do one run step. I might need to run a little farther than that. This one will work, but it clouds out a little bit. Yeah, there you go. So that one's good, right? So I like this flash, or this smoke, because if you couple with flashes, it's great. It's perfect to cross. You can throw like a deep flash like that in the back while you're running, hug the smoke, and then jump, right? That's going to be really good because any opera back here, this flash is enough right there to at least blind them for a split second, just so that if they're zoomed in, they're going to move or do something, right? Because no one wants to just stand still blind. And it's going to be enough for you to get across this gap. So make sure you're throwing that one smoke on the left side if you only have one to cross. Last problem I see at A. When you're crossing, like we just talked about, a lot of people just throw the worst flashes. They either try to throw flashes like this, which can be good in some situations. If you know you're beating the rotators and they're running up the ramp, throwing one of those flashes is great because it's going to just push this guy into the corner and he can't run through the smoke, which is one of the more dangerous things, right? You don't want a guy just charging through the smoke backwards with his teammates' flashes. So the one thing you could do to kind of mitigate that helps you in both cases so you can get ground is a simple flash that I know a lot of you know but you don't do enough. Is just flashing to the right for your teammates. Now, if you say, oh, okay, people in solo queue aren't going to throw these flashes, then be the support. I would rather throw flashes for my teammate and matchmake and have them cross, even if they trade evenly or maybe die. And you get away with baiting, but at least I'm still alive in a good situation. And more often than not, if your team is rushing up, which a lot of people like to hold W and matchmake, you're throwing flashes like this for them. And they're able to run up and just do a little turn without having to turn too much. And is blinding people running up the spawn ramp, is blinding operas holding this wide angle, right? And you could throw them shallower, obviously. Those ones will hit a lot of people. The textures don't fully block the flashes unless they're like here maybe. But like, you could throw them, a lot of times I'll throw them even higher, right? You just throw them to the right, high right like this, I think even a lot of people throw. And these flashes will destroy the people on the site, even pretty deep out there. And they hit them just enough to push them off, right? When they start hitting these flashes, it pushes them off. So be throwing these flashes if you're not the first guy. And if you are the first guy and you know there's no one right here, a lot of times if you somehow still have your flashes, you wouldn't be the flashes if you're the first guy along. But say you're a third guy along and your team is just lollygagging right here. Throw one deep like this, and then like double click one and just throw it like that and just keep charging, have that smoke going, jump across, and this is a good chance to get into fights however you want to enter by yourself. All right, next up, mid. Guys, mid and catwalk control is like the whole pivot of T side, right? You need catwalk control. I could probably make a separate video off of the ways to take catwalk and the implications of catwalk control. But the two things you guys need to know for catwalk control is, well, so the mistake is not going up cat with an Xbox smoke. So this is the Xbox smoke, 128 tick, corner to that corner, jump throw, right? Now, with 64 tick, you aim a little lower or higher. You can find out really quick by practicing in your own server. But throwing that smoke is the easiest way to just make sure you can get up cat. And if you don't have that smoke, please, for the love of myself, don't throw one flash like that and just try to run up cat because he's just going to get him blind. And obviously don't peek and throw a flash like this. Make sure you're throwing, if you're going to go up cat by yourself, and you have two flashes, you throw them like this. You throw one off the wall, and then right when it pops, you're fast running, and you throw the other one, kind of take a little left route like that. Because what happens is if you throw one flash, and he sees it coming, he might get unblind and then hold this angle. So you want the second one to come fast, and you don't want him to be able to re-peek in case, like, say you throw this flash, and he was peeking like this, he's going to see it coming and pre-dodge it, and he could already be here again. So that's why when you throw two flashes, and make sure you're going like this, right when it pops, you go left, don't peek before it pops, and you throw that and you jump like this, all right? Last thing for catwalk, guys, since there's so much to talk about in catwalk, keeping it simple for this video, knowing a good setup smoke. So a good setup smoke is this right here, this smoke. A lot of people throw it on the fly like this, which can work. What you want to do is middle of this door, top of this window, right there, throw that smoke. And when we talk about flashes, first of all, the smoke is good because you have the one way right here, and then they don't know if you're using it, so it's going to force them to respect this angle. It's hard for them to see it one way, and then it gives you a variety of options to play off the edges or to jump through it and go spawn, etc. A couple good flashes to know from this, or at least one. Want to make sure you're running off cat. You're not just throwing like flashes like this. First of all, it's easy for the operator to dodge. Second of all, if you want to throw a shallow flash, make sure it's at the corner. You want it to land, like I just did that on the fly, but you want it to land not far past the corner, a little bit further than that, so that the opera can't react. Second of all, a good flash right here is you just duck at this box, find the smoke, and aim right to the left of this at the top. No, not that one. Oops, wrong box. At the top of this, and throw it like that. That flash is really good because it lands below the railing, and your team can start running with it. So what happens is the flash is up. This is how you're. This is the new age meta of actually getting a lot of frags in matchmake. You could throw all these nades for your teammates, right? Hopefully someone can throw an Xbox smoke for you, even if they throw it for lower. But if you have these smokes and flashes, what's going to happen is instead of getting the kills that are entries, you're going to be locking down the round for your team. So throw this smoke, you're set up, whatever. Your team all gets like 1, 2, 3 right here. They're kind of creeping out. You say, all right, someone throw a high flash. And right when they throw the high flash, boom, the flash goes off. Even if you're blind, you have this one line up and you throw that one. This guy who gets blind, first he's going to be holding here. He'll get blind for the high flash, fall, and then your flash is going to blind him and it'll allow your teammates to cross. All right? Last but not least, Russian B, Sika, yeah, whatever that saying is. So Russian B, two things I want to talk about really quick after I take this sip of water. rushing and pathing. All right. In terms of rushing B, the two key things I want to talk about are rushing and pathing. So rushing, first of all, with flashes. I see a lot of people will throw, like, run up here and throw one flash and then they'll have to turn, whatever. The key is 2 flashes fast. Right when you're around the corner, throw this one, so for the guys that could be peeking, and then hard off the right side of this wall so it goes deep into this corner. It's a little more shallow even. It's right when you're here. So you throw the first one here and the second one like that. This is why we practice. Second one right off the corner like that as you're rushing, and you just take this path while you're running in. If you're entering by yourself and you're going slow, this is where we talk about pathing. It's okay to go wide and take these fights, but whenever you're with a teammate and you're clearing stuff, you want to take the tight fight here, because what happens is right when you entry, you want to create space so that you're here on this line so that he could step out and trade. You don't want to be peeking, if you have teammates behind you, you don't want to be peeking wide like this, unless you're confident maybe in the exact spot he's holding window and you just want to go like this. And he's opping, but most of the time you want to be coming close and swinging because it's harder for them to react to this angle, first of all. And second of all, it gives more space to your teammates behind you, all right? Whether you're going slow or fast, you could deduce if you're by yourself, but you want to be creating space for the people behind you when you're entering the site. All right, guys, that's a quick mistakes to avoid on T-side Dust 2. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments, and I'd be happy to ask. I'll see you guys in the next video, and thank you for watching.